What up? What up, Mr. Dawson?
What's up, buddy? What is
What you doing?
Man, getting back from had training all week, so we left, and I don't say all week. It's only Wednesday. We left on Monday. I left on Sunday to go to Hannibal. So I had motivational interviewing. Motivational interviewing is a something we use in social work to be able to kind of talk and reflect with the client. So it was pretty cool. It was a grind, 8 hours each day, but got to enjoy beautiful Hannibal. So yeah, it's good to go to Hannibal and not have to fish Mark Twain Lake. Like I was glad not. Like they, MTL stands for Might Try Later.
No.
So yeah, that's it.
I'm wondering what the living room looks like right now with all the tackles. Is it pretty bad, or is it?
I haven't even got to it. I'm you know what, dude? I'm pretty much prepping exactly how I prepped for Palmy. I did fish Palmy a couple last weekend, so not a lot of changes. I'm only going to bring 18 rods, so I think I'm going to be all right.
Should be a good time. I'm excited about it. It feels like it's been forever since we had a MOYAK event. It's in 3 or 4 weeks.
Dude, stop number 4.
Stop number 4. So right at that halfway point, so where you can make it or break it, So
drops are going to be important
right now. And yeah, especially if we're going to Mark Twain later in the year. So, but no, I'm excited about this. And I honestly told these guys before we brought them in that we were going to talk with Brad, but I think I'm going to start with Rick. I think I'm going to pull the switcheroo on these guys and get them in here. Fortunately, Brad's on the water right now on Truman, so we can get some instant feedback probably.
On the water
cues, but on the water. Let's get these guys in here. Sheesh. But like I just said, I'm going to pull the switcheroo, and I'm going to start out with Rick, and then we'll talk to Brad. But Rick, real quick, you are hosting us there in Truman, and tell us about what you got going on there and what we can look forward to for Saturday.
Yeah, our place is called Mimosa Place, and we've got a lodge there that sleeps up to 15, and it's just a really, really cool place. You can go to mimosaplace.com and or trumanlakecamping.com. And it'll get you to Mimosa Place. So, we've got a place there that we're all the amenities. We've got, just a very comfortable place. It's been completely remodeled, new furniture, and so just a very place for fishermen to come together and relax after a hard day of fishing and be able just to spend some time together, maybe build a fire outside and, just enjoy each other. So we're very excited about that to sponsor there at Truman this weekend. Saturday, come back. I understand they're going to be the award ceremony, so it's looking really pretty. I think you're going to enjoy it.
Awesome. What kind of availability do you guys for Friday and Saturday night?
On a regular basis, or
just like this weekend? Do you have quite a bit availability still if guys are looking for spots to camp or stay?
RV spots, and we have traveling about some spots.
So, Rick, I'm having a little bit of a hard time. Jonathan, are you having a hard time hearing them? Is that on my end?
No, I think it's his connection. I'm not sure what's going on with there.
Okay.
Run that back one more time as far as availability for this weekend, Rick.
Yeah, we just have the one lodge, but we do have RV spots available if anybody would need those.
Cool, man. And then what sort of amenities do you have there available?
Well, I tell you what, we kind of just really focus on kind of the serenity, just a lot of trees and woods. We're right on the edge of the woods there. We've got 2 fishing ponds. It's got some nice fish in them. So if you want to practice a little bit, you can do that there. But we don't boast a lot of amenities because we know most people have come down to fish, and we just want to give them a nice place to stay and kind of relax, and then be ready to go out at fishing. We're about 8 minutes from Osage Bluff. We're on Highway MM, just past 53 there, or 83. I'm sorry.
And you
Awesome.
you have a really cool kind of shower house, and you got hot water hookups for people that want to bring their RV.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
I think that's in. So there is all that on site. Like, it's not a, it's not nomad type style. You've got pretty much.
No. It's water, electric, and sewer. Hookups, just like a regular RV park. So we've got well, right now we've got about 24 spots there, and we're just kind of redoing it and opening up as we get the demand for it. And so we just opened up about 12 new lots, and just ready for people to come and spend some time there.
I think for me, what kind of stood out the most, because we had the opportunity to be able to come down during the All American Championship, and as you said, just kind of the serenity. So we all kind of went and walked around the ponds. Micah, he's on here. He actually caught a really good red ear. Got big sunfish in one of the in the lower pond. So like really big red ear. So it was just cool just to be able just to kind of decompress. You feel like you're kind of in the nature. You're like right there in Warsaw, kind of, but you don't feel like you are. And I feel like the location, like your availability to different ramps, just kind of centrally locates you to where you're not that far from everywhere.
Yeah, our property actually backs up to 65. It's a long, distance over there, but it's sets up on a, kind of on a plateau, and then it's just really, again, a lot of trees, a lot of green grass, and yeah, that's really what we boast is just serenity, where you can, don't have to worry about a lot of traffic going through the park and a lot of other stuff going on. We really pride ourselves on our community and the people who are there at the park.
Well, we're excited to come there and check it out. I know there's some guys that, they have RVs or campers and different stuff like that. So, just getting the word out. You may not see that benefit this year, but there's a lot of guys. Like, I know a group of us for the All American, we typically try and stay at Buck Ridge because some of them have campers, some of them are tent camping and whatnot. But excited to be there. So excited to check it out and see what you guys have to offer.
Absolutely. And it's the website is trumanlakecamping.com, and you can go on and book a spot right there online, and also of course give us a call. But we're available to answer any questions. The lodge, like I said, will sleep up to 15. It's great for, of course, fishermen, but also family reunions and just all kinds of gatherings. It's just a great place. We've got a lot of shower space and a lot of beds, and just big screen TVs, Wi-Fi, kind of all of those amenities there, and a big harvest type table that everybody can sit around and enjoy conversation. So we'd love for you to come check it out.
That's one thing I noticed about that
Awesome.
site too, and something that's really important to us, because we do a lot of stuff online when it comes to our captain's meetings and just submitting fish. But the cell service that you have there, as far as your Wi-Fi capability within the park, seems really good.
Yeah, it's strong. It really is. I get down there quite a bit and never have any problems. So, like I said, we kind of sit down off of the highway a little bit. It kind of plateaus before it goes back down toward 65. But we definitely, you don't have any problems with that there.
Well, Rick, seriously, appreciate you being on here, taking some time out of your schedule, and of course, most of all, for hosting us. Can't wait to be
Absolutely.
there. And
you say we might see you Saturday, Rick? Make a drive?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking about it. I've got some other things that's kind of sidetracked me a little bit, but it's on my calendar, so we'll do our best to make it if we can. So
we'll make sure John can take some good pictures for you.
Yeah, if you could, that would be great.
Sure.
We'll get those posted on our Facebook page, and we appreciate you guys. We thank you for what all you do there in the community, and this is going to be an exciting event, and we're really proud to play a small part in it.
Yeah, Rick, if you come by, I'd like to shake your hand. I'll give you a cold beer too from one of our sponsors too. You might enjoy.
All right.
So.
All right. Sounds
well,
good,
Rick,
guys.
you're more than welcome to hang. Yeah, you're more than welcome to hang out. If not, you can jump off, whatever you want to do. But it's totally up to you, man. Okay.
I'll probably jump off. I've got to go get my grandson here in a minute from a church activity. So I'll probably go ahead and jump off of here.
Well, thank you so much.
Later,
I
Rick.
appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Looks like I'm getting ready to get on.
Hey there. Trey, give us a quick introduction of the next guest here.
So, the one and only Brad Jelinek, man. This dude is renownedly known on Truman, Lake of the Ozarks. I believe he has a couple major league fishing. He's just kind of done it all. Phenomenal crappie guy. Rumor has it this dude is kind of a power finesse kind of dude, can really do it when it comes to, I was fishing a tournament with him. What was it, Brad? Probably last month. We were fishing on Lake of the Ozarks.
Yep.
I think you made it in the check line there, and it's very often you see this dude in the check line. So yeah, I mean, he just, if you have a conversation about Truman, it's really hard to have that conversation without mentioning Brad. So that's what I got.
Damn. What a nice guy.
I think he's just sucking up for some. I think he's just sucking up for some waypoints, but that's just my opinion.
Maybe a little bit.
Well, the good news for you is the lake's 10 feet high, so my waypoints are these things right here. Those bushes.
They are in the bushes. So you're on Truman right now.
Yep. I am on a guide trip. Luckily, Scott, nice enough guy that didn't seem to bother him. So we're out here trying to. He's actually a new to the scene bass fisherman, so we're working on some techniques. Obviously, catching fish is a bonus, but kind of just telling him what I'm looking for this time of year, and just like I said, some techniques on how to flip and drag around a little bit out here. So it's been a good time. The fish are not really cooperating, but sometimes it be like that.
I was talking to somebody else last week, actually a dude that you fish with, and we were talking about the importance of kind of what you said his name is Steve. Steve's there with you?
Scott.
Kind of what Scott's doing, where you invest in a guide, kind of like people invest in coaches. And if you're really trying to do this, I mean, I know people are like, well, it's just about time on the water, and it is. But I feel there's a value to being able to call someone like you, who's a guide, who has experience on the water, and be like, hey, dude, I like to pay just to get some coaching, just to be able to go out there, watch what you do. And I mean, it's the same thing with anything that you do. People hire voice coaches. People hire all types of coaches. What's to say that I can't go out there and learn from you, learn how to use my live scope, learn how to read a lake, learn how to read water levels. You're only giving me more information. So that's a great way to utilize a guide, not just for your family on a Saturday afternoon, whenever,
Yeah, hit the nail on the head there. I mean, I've spent thousands of days on this lake to where it's a lot of information that I have that I can give to somebody pretty quickly, that I learned over the years that I can eliminate. Honestly, a lot of it I can eliminate for somebody too. Like if they, one simple question, like, are they in creeks right now? Are they on the main? What kind of stuff are you looking for? And I can eliminate all of that pretty quickly just from my experience. Not saying what I do is the right thing every single time, but more of what I do is high percentage stuff. So right now you can go catch one in the very back of a creek. Not saying you can't, but something that's not something I'm going to be doing, to where if somebody's going to be coming to the lake, or I got Scott out here with me right now, what am I looking for this time of year? I can literally take him to specific spots. Like, this is what I'm looking for this time of year. Although the lake is 10 feet high, those fish still generally get around the same areas. They might not be in the same spot, but they're going to be in the same general area. So now whenever the lake gets down and he's out on his own in his boat, and he's like, okay, well, this is what Brad and I did. Maybe I can go do this myself and get a little feel for it and some confidence for for himself when he's out there. So just like you said, just the time on the water is everything, but I can speed up the process of learning something.
So why
Brad,
fishing, Brett? I'm sorry. Go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
John. Yeah, let
Yeah,
me
so-
finish with this one. Let me finish with this
Go
one.
ahead.
Why
Go ahead.
fishing, though, Brad? Like, when did you start it? Like, what does it mean in your life? Like, what type of, like, is it a big part of your wellness? Maybe a part of recovery? Is it what, like, why fishing, and when did you start that, and maybe who was your influence in that?
All right. So growing up, I was super competitive sports. I played baseball. I thought I was gonna be a professional baseball player. High school, I had scouts coming to my games, recording me, and signing a bunch or filling out a bunch of questionnaires and stuff. I didn't end up getting drafted out of high school, so I played college baseball for 4 years, and I was just always super competitive. I loved going out there on the lake. Like being super competitive in sports brought the competitiveness to on the lake, but kind of circle back, growing up, my dad's been a guide on the lake for 30 years, 30 plus years, to where fishing was always in my life, but it was never really something I wanted to do until I got to college. Once my junior summer rolled around in college, I started to realize that the baseball dream was probably not going to happen. And I started wanting my games and practices to get rained out so I can go out on the lake and go bass fishing. So I've always been fishing. I've always had the fishing bug, but it never was really something that I wanted to do until I was about 20, 21 years old. And once I got done with my 4th year, I pretty much just was all in bass fishing. I had very little money. I mean, that's how most people are when they start bass fishing. They invest all their money in their truck and their boat, and then they make it happen. And I started fishing the BFLs, started cashing checks in the BFLs, and then the local tournaments, had some success doing that, won some big ones. And then just kind of started accumulating a little bit of cash flow through some tournaments and guide trips, and then was able to upgrade into a little bit better and newer boat, and then took that and just started traveling around bass fishing. So it all started with my dad growing up, and then it started to become a dream of mine to fish professionally when I was about 20, 21. And then the baseball competitiveness is the reason I love tournament fishing. So that's kind of in a nutshell of how it all started for me.
I can concur with, like, I did the same thing. I went off from high school, played some JUCO ball, and I really didn't get into fishing until I moved back to Missouri. But it's hard not to fish here in Missouri with all the lakes and rivers and stuff. But
Yeah,
I totally get like the competitive side of doing that, because like when I started kayak fishing, I was just for the heck of it, and then I found out they got these tournaments, and I'm like, well, shoot, let's go,
yeah.
And do all that. So that's really cool. Dude, let's jump into the brass tacks and what guys are wanting to know. You're obviously on the water right now. Maybe not specifics, there's a lot of techniques and whatnot, but let's just start off like, what are you seeing on the lake? Some guys are going to be able to get to pre-fish, some guys won't. Maybe talk about water clarity, water temp, and different parts of the lake that you're seeing right now.
Yeah, so as a whole, the whole lake's up 9 to 10 feet high right now. So we got a ton of water in the bushes. The water temp is anywhere from 76 to 80 something if you get far in the back of somewhere. But right now on the main lake, it's 77.5 degrees. Water clarity is pretty stained as a whole. If you get up around in the T-bow arm, it's a little bit cleaner. If you get up in the grand arm, it's a little bit cleaner. The dam area has got some not good color. I don't like color around the dam area, so it's stained. From the dam to the Osage is very dirty. The palmy arm is starting to clean up once you get past the Osage. But as a whole, the lake has got some color in it, and it's got a lot of water in it right now. I will say that. It's not my favorite style of fishing right now, but we can't control that, unfortunately.
So I got a question here from Mr. Chad Davison, and I'll put it on there. He goes, are they going to be running water this weekend? Being on that lake, I'm sure you got a pretty good idea.
So. Yeah, I would say so. as long as we don't get a huge rain again and the rivers get flooded to where Lake of the Ozarks can't let water out, the water will be running here. Generally, when it's this high, they run it until it gets to about normal pool every single day.
So, second part to that question is, what do you think that does to the fish?
I personally think it sets them up on your some type of point or some type of current break. Now, this isn't the TVA to where those fish school up and group up big time. This is more of a spot lake, in my opinion. You're not going to be able to run a bunch of patterns throughout this whole lake and be successful. You're going to have to find a couple spots that got some fish on it and milk it for all it's worth. But it's going to set your better fish up on some type of point, whether it's a secondary point or a main lake point. And you're just going to have to figure out if those fish are relating to the bottom or if they're relating to some bushes. But generally, your quality fish are going to be around some type of current break. Like I said, it's not the TVA, so it's not going to be ripping over their head, but they do feel a little bit of water movement.
What does TVA mean?
It's not. It's the Tennessee River, like Kentucky Lake, Pickwick, like where all those ledge lakes are, where they rely heavily on current. Like, if you're not fishing current ledges or anything like that, you're not going to catch them. It's not like that. You're not going to go to a spot and catch 100 fish here.
Can you explain to maybe somebody that's listening what exactly a current break is, and like how to find a current break?
Yeah. So I guess I can't really necessarily say a current break. It's just something that has, so like if you go in a creek and it splits into two, we'll call that where the arms split into two, it makes a point. That's a secondary point. When that water starts moving, those fish feel it and they get on top of that point or around that point that those two creek arms make. So that's an example right there. Or you get towards the main lake of that creek and it's on the main lake point where the main lake current is going over that point, and that's where those fish will set to. Like right now, I just went down a whole bush row and we didn't have a bite, and now I'm kicking the trolling motor up on high, and I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but like right there, those bushes come out and make a point. That, in my opinion, is where your better fish and more fish are going to set up. Now, is it going to be like that through the whole entire lake? No, but for me, it's high percentage stuff. I'm gonna spend majority of my time around something like this, where the bushes kind of come out to a little bit farther in the lake, and it's around some type of point.
That's good. That's good. So you can actually see the bushes coming out, and if you can find one where the bushes are coming out like that farther than the other ones, that's a pretty high percentage area.
Yep, correct. Now, the lake's fishing pretty dang tough right now. I'm not saying it's going to fish tough this weekend, but what happens?
That's MOYAK's fault.
Yeah, what happens is when the lake comes up this fast and this high, they spread out. They don't lock down. But once the water level stables out and then starts to fall, that's when the fishing gets better. So we're a couple days away from it to start coming down, and that's when I think they'll start biting a little bit better. They'll start getting those fish that you can't access towards stuff that you can access. But that's why go ahead.
I was gonna say, so Josh just asked a good question too. He asked, "What's a good pattern if the water starts dropping? Like, what would you? Are you still focusing on those points, knowing that they're pulling water and all that?"
Yep, same deal. Like I said, it's 10 feet high to where this lake won't come down to normal pool for 2 months, basically. So I'm still focusing on the same type of stuff.
Man, it's pretty cool that you're on the water right now, and we're getting some live coverage from Truman Lake. So really appreciate you doing that, man. It's pretty cool. I know Trey jokingly, like, before we got on here, he's like, don't share the juice, but share some of the juice. But, I don't want to know color, size, weight, whatever. Like, what are some techniques that you would recommend, guys, stick in their hand? Is that like a Texas rig? Is it chatterbait, spinnerbait? What's 2 or 3 things that you would recommend right now?
Yeah, I definitely recommend having a big worm tied on. Texas. Right now we're flipping a 10-inch worm with a pegged half-ounce weight in these bushes. Half-ounce football jig also works very well. And then if you want to throw a moving bait, here soon they're going to start biting a dang buzz bait sooner than later. So I would definitely have a topwater tied on as well. And actually, before the day's over here, we are going to throw a buzz bait around.
So I was just thinking, I was just going through, as joking what Jonathan said, my living room looking like a mess, and I had got some half-ounce football heads. So if I'm flipping bushes like that or whatever, I can still use a football head to do that. I don't have to necessarily have what's the difference there? Like, what makes me choose a football head above like a flipping jig?
So for me, when I'm throwing a football head, I'm throwing it around the bushes, kind of between. So like if you look right here, there's a bush right here, and then you have open water and then a bush. Like I would sit off and throw that football jig in between the bushes where the open water is and drag through that stuff. If I'm flipping in a bush, yeah, a flipping jig or a Texas rig, which is what we're doing. We're flipping a Texas rig in these bushes. It just goes through the bush a lot easier. A lot of times you don't have to be super specific with what you're flipping in a bush because it's a reaction bite. You could throw a 3/4 ounce tungsten weight with a black 2-inch piece of plastic and it'll probably eat it, honestly. Like I don't feel like these fish in these bushes are picky. Like whatever you're gonna throw in front of it, they're gonna bite it. So I definitely wouldn't overthink that part. But we are throwing a 10-inch worm in them.
So you're literally like, see, I think of like 10-inch worm, like for me, and I'm still new to this, Brad. Like I'm thinking like dragging like main lake points with a 10-inch worm, and you're saying no, put that 10-inch worm inside of a bush.
Oh yeah, they'll bite it. They will bite it.
Oh man! All right, so I gotta.
Hey, Jonathan, we're gonna get in trouble for this one, boy.
I can see Chad right now in the messenger.
He ain't texting me yet, so he ain't that mad right now.
Come on, yes, but I can't. Chad's got some sneaky stuff. Like Chad's got some prototype stuff that we don't get to, so we might as well take full advantage. He's probably gonna take our money anyway, so I don't know why it really matters, but I don't care. Let's split it all there. I got another question from one of our guys, Noah. He says, please don't say any specific areas or ramps, but is there a section of the lake that is outperforming? And if you don't want to share this, man, if you don't want to give up your juice,
it truly is not. It's not a huge deal. It seemed like the Grand Arm had the most productive water from the people that I did talk to and from when I've been out here. So I would say the Grand Arm has been the best right now. I think if you like dirty water, you need to go up in the Osage, though. The water's stained as a whole, but it's pretty dirty when you get if you go left from the dam.
So I would just say everybody that's listening, just go to the Osage.
That's the dirtiest water.
Go to the Osage.
Yep.
That's where I'll be.
So I got a question. This is me personally, like thinking. I love throwing, a jig head minnow, forward facing sonar. Do you feel like Truman is one of those lakes that plays with that technique?
Absolutely not. No, it's not
sweet.
I don't know if it's just the shad on this lake. Like we don't have any threadfin shad here, so the fish do something different. The gizzard shad, they generally live fairly shallow to where those fish don't really get out there and suspend like they will at Table Rock or a lake like that with a bunch of threadfin. So the jighead minnow is not a player on this lake. Not saying you can't ever catch one on it, but you're pretty well wasting your time if you're going to do that all day.
Sweet. I appreciate that confidence that you just gave me, buddy.
That's exactly what he wanted to hear, Brad.
Yep.
Yes. So leaving the spinning rods at the house.
I told you to tell them they were biting the minnow, Brad. Come on, man. You're killing me here.
Yep. They're biting it. They're biting the minnow in the bushes.
In the bushes. In the bushes. That
makes sense. A wide open hook. Just make sure you set the hook real good.
Yeah.
I kind of curious. Are you seeing much like shad spawns and stuff like that right now?
Dude, honestly, I do not see that a whole lot around here. I feel like most of the fish, if they're a shad spawn, you can't really see it. I don't know what the deal is on that thing. Like, you hear people talk about they're on a killer shad spawn deal. I can honestly say I've never been on a killer shad spawn bite on this lake. So I don't know if it's just missing it or what the deal is there, but you can't go to a point and catch 20 of them on a shad spawn and then expect to go there the next morning and catch another shad spawn on that point. There will be some activity on some of these areas where they'll eat shad, but I don't think it's a shad spawn, dude. I just think the shad are up there. Like, it'll be 100 degrees in the official school on a point for like 30 seconds, not even 10 seconds, and that'll be it.
So not last year, but the year before, I ended up finishing 4th at Truman, and I got into the shad spawn, or a shad spawn, I would say, and it was on a peninsula that typically is out of water when it's not 9 foot, 10 foot high. And I sat on a point and threw a chatterbait and caught him. But that's the only time I've personally seen a shad spawn where we just came from Table Rock, and there was multiple guys were showing like literally fish jumping out of the waters on a shad spawn there. So it's just kind of curious if we should be looking for that first thing in the morning or not.
I mean, you definitely can. Like I said, I have not really gone specifically looking for that. And I guess I could be screwing up there, but it's just something I haven't really had much experience with this time of year.
So I will say, guys, for our viewers and listeners out there, we do have a prize tonight, and this is coming to you straight from Japan. It's some JDM. I had to dig deep for this one, guys. So this is a grass piece by Bass Puzzle, 3/4 ounce, really cool color. These things are really hard to get. So if you guys come to the awards, that's the only way you'll be able to pick that up. But this is like I said, it's a grass piece by Bass Puzzle for you guys that love the bladed jig. So I'm getting confused here, so I'm trying to see what he's got on the other end of that line. No.
There's nothing here.
So guys, we're gonna throw out a random question at the end of the show, and if the first one to answer it, So the first name Jonathan throws out there that he says gets it, I will bring it to the awards, and I'll get it to you after I get off the stage.
Brad, I've got another question from Josh, and you may or may not know, or maybe know some spots to avoid. He said, with the water being 10 foot high, are there any ramps or access points that are currently closed to high water?
Not that I know of. Generally, your marinas that most people put in at, they're going to be keeping up with the water to where everything should be usable. That's with the marina or Shawnee Bend. Those are all you're all good there.
All right, I got a question. So do you, and maybe I'm seeing this because I am really trying to look here, but so so when you're flipping like a 10-inch worm, do you throw that on braid or do you throw that on fluorocarbon?
I throw it on fluorocarbon.
When do you use braid instead of fluoro when you're flipping?
Never.
Okay.
All the time, Trey.
Yep.
All the time.
I actually had the same conversation with Scott earlier. I don't use braid unless I'm throwing a top water. And now if I'm in Florida punching, then I'll use braid. But I fished with a buddy of mine, Marcus Sikora, one time at Table Rock, and we were flipping bushes, and I had braid on, and he was throwing fluorocarbon, and I really didn't know why, because I always thought braid was what you wanted to use around these bushes and flipping like that. But he made a good point to me that braid will slice through a tree limb or a bush limb and get stuck in it a lot easier than that fluorocarbon will, and it just doesn't come out of the bushes as clean as fluorocarbon will. So that's one of the reasons why. And I just feel like as a whole, braid's a lot harder to like. I guess I can't say cast, but like just not as smooth as fluorocarbon.
Trey's there just drooling over your Texas rig there that you got rigging up. He's like,
Well, because I swore it
he's
was
looking at
on
what size weight
braid.
you're
That's
This
the
throwing.
reason why.
this is braid.
He's-
This is braid. This is not my rod though.
So Scott's over there like, well, man, why am I using fluorocarbon then?
That is correct.
Oh
That's
shoot, he's
awesome.
giving up the
There's
real
more.
juice now.
No,
Oh
no, I
goodness.
promise.
Oh
Here,
my
I'll show you
gosh.
my rod. This
Oh
is
my
20.
goodness. He's giving up the
This-
juice. Chad's rolling over right now.
25-pound shooter, sunline shooter.
Oh,
That's the
I love
juice.
So
That
what
is
year
the
did you
juice.
start guiding? What year did you start guiding on Table Rock, Brad?
Truman.
Truman.
I actually started guiding when I was still playing college baseball. I want to say I was like 19. I just happened to be home for 2 days or something during the summer, and my dad had an extra spot to fill, and he took the parents out and I took the kids out and made a little bit of money catching fish, and I was like, damn, that was pretty fun. And I 100%, so I guess it's either been 9 or 10 years since I've been doing it, but I 100% have to give all the credit to my dad and my uncle. Like, without them, I would not be able to do what I'm doing. Like, they got me going. They got me customers when they were overbooked, and they also I have had a ton of group trips with them. Like, there'll be families of 5 to 10 that come down and they all want to go fishing, and you can't fit 5-10 guys in a bass boat, so they have me tag along and I take them fishing, and then those people have a good time going with me, and they tell people, and then it kind of just word of mouth, and it's like a domino effect. So without them, I definitely wouldn't be able to be guiding out here, so I'm very thankful.
That's awesome.
Brad, did you watch any of the Bassmaster event on 10 Killer?
Oh yeah.
Do you think any of those techniques that those guys were using will carry over to Truman? You know, after watching that, it's like I should probably go to Bass Pro and buy a bunch of, white swim jigs and stuff like that. Do you think any of that would play in these bushes?
Absolutely.
And whatnot?
Especially in the morning, I think you can swim a jig through these bushes for sure. I don't think you're going to see a lot of the running water into the lake / punching debris mats like some of those guys were doing, but absolutely fishing bushes and swimming a jig through them can work.
And speaking of that, is that the goal, Brad? Is that the overall goal? Is that what Brad Jelinek wants to do? Is that like, do you want to be on the Elite Series?
Yeah, that's definitely the goal. Unfortunately, the fishing world right now, there's a lot of hate, and we spend a lot of time focusing on stuff that people don't like versus stuff that we want and kind of need. Like, I'm not going to get into all of that, but I feel like the fishing world needs to take a 180 and get back on track. But the Elites is definitely something that is a dream of mine. I fished the Tackle Warehouse Invitationals for a couple of years, and then decided to go to Bass to get in a different circuit and try to make the Elites. And hopefully maybe one day, maybe this year.
That'd be awesome, dude.
That would be pretty sweet.
So when you get on the Elite, you got to promise us that you're not going to get too fancy to be able. You're still going to have to come down to MOYAK and do a show with us at least bi-yearly, maybe once every other year when we go to Truman.
I can promise you I will not be too cool for that.
So, Brad, what's a close second lake to Truman for you?
Lake of the Ozarks.
Where's your next favorite spot in Missouri? Yeah.
I actually spend just as much time on the Ozarks. I spend more time bass fishing on the Ozarks just because there's more tournaments there nowadays. But I guide only on Truman, but I spend a lot of time on the Ozarks.
That's awesome.
What's your biggest bass on Truman?
Did you ask what's my biggest bass ever?
Biggest bass on Truman, and your biggest bag from Lake of the Ozarks.
Biggest bass on Truman was an 8.1 pounder on a jig. My biggest bag I caught a 30-pound bag on the Ozarks, but it was in practice, so I guess you can't really count that. But my biggest bag in a tournament was just under 25. I caught almost 28 pounds in a solo pro on Palmy 2 years ago.
That's a bag on Palmy, bro.
Yeah, I was on them.
I think Palmy in the spring is kind of one of them sleeper lakes.
Palmy in general is a sleeper lake. Honestly, I caught that almost 28-pound bag in September.
Sheesh.
Yep. Here, give me like
Well, that's
30
good news
seconds.
because
I'm
You're good.
running to another spot.
So Trey, how much did you pay Brad to be on the water with us on this? Like, did you have to pay extra for this, Trey, or
I'm gonna
was this
say
just
Josh.
like-
Josh owes me a couple quarter-inch deductions. So at least he's, I mean, I get a little bit of play. I get a little open mouth play.
Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness! This is good. It's really
Honestly,
cool.
all I had to do was tell
there.
Brad that I knew Chad Davison. So all I had to do was say, "Hey, Brad, I know Chad Davison. I'm from Columbia. Do you think you can?" And Brad was like, "Bro, you know Chad. I'm in there. I'm in there." So no, man. A lot of people
Chad's a good
talk,
buddy.
a lot of people talk about him, man. Like he's that dude, bro. Like, Jonathan Pimentel, got all the Hibden boys, Brock from that lake there. I mean, he's that dude, bro. So I just knew that we needed him on here, and I'm just grateful that he was able to get on here. So
yeah, now that Chad knows we've got him on here, I think Chad's kind of second guessing all his friendships now. So we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting. Oh my, Brad, what else you got for us, man? Before we'll let you get back to work and go throw them buzzer baits.
Not a whole lot. I appreciate you guys letting me come on and talk for a little bit. Shout out to Scott for letting me do this too. I know I'm kind of cutting into his time, but at least we're still fishing.
Yeah. Scott's
switched
the
it
real
around.
winner.
You're the closer. You're the closer. But so I got a question for you, for maybe some of them guys listening, that they get out there, they launch Saturday morning, they don't have any fish, and it's 10 a.m., 11 o'clock, and just kind of run us through that mental attitude, especially as it relates to Truman, on how they stay in that zone when they start to get all spun out around 10 or 11 a.m. when maybe they've got 22 inches on the board.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, it's something that fishermen go through 95% of the tournaments. I feel like there's not very many times. I fished a lot of tournaments in the last 8 years, and not very many times have I gone out there and just got on them right away and was ready to weigh in an hour. A lot of my biggest fish catches and big pulls have been in the last 30 minutes or 20 minutes even. Like, it literally can happen any cast, especially on this lake. Like, it doesn't take long to reel them in. That's what I tell myself all the time. Like, it doesn't take long to reel them in. It doesn't take long to reel them in. So just kind of, you just got to keep grinding. This lake is a grinder. It can treat you well. There's big fish in here. There's a lot of fish in here, but it's not one of those lakes, like I was saying earlier, you're going to pull up to a spot and catch 30 fish and have 20 pounds. Like, it's just realistically not going to happen. So there's a reason that you're fishing the tournament. You're doing it for the competitiveness. You're doing it for the learning. Whether you're catching them in the morning or not, like, you're still learning something. And honestly, I mean, you can check the results. I did terrible in the DFL here last week, and I didn't even weigh them because I was so mad at myself. I had one 15-incher and one 4.5-pounder. Like, it just, tournament fishing, sometimes that'll happen. I know this lake very well, and it still happens to me. So I definitely feel like your best bite can be the last hour of a day. You just got to stay mentally focused the whole time. The worst thing you can do is mentally check out, get a 5-pound bite, and not be ready for it and lose it. That's what you don't want to happen.
That's a great point, dude. That's some juice in itself.
Brad, seriously, man, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. We'll let you and get out of here. If you want to swing by on Saturday and hang out with the boys, we'll have some cold beers. You're more than welcome to. I'm sure some of these guys will either hate you or appreciate what you gave them, So we'll see what happens, man.
I would love to share a brewski with you boys, but I will be I will be in New York then. I'm going to Champlain.
Hey, yeah, you ever fished out of a kayak in a kayak tournament, man? It'll change your life.
I've never done that.
It'll change your life, man. Just come on. Whenever you're ready, come see me. I'll get you in a kayak and see what you can do out there, man.
Well, if I decide to make that transition one day, I definitely will be getting a hold of you guys.
Just come get on the horse once, man. Just try it once. You see,
I'll probably like it.
Either liked it or hate it.
I probably would like it.
Man, seriously, man. Seriously, I appreciate you coming on here, giving us some juice, and excited for that, man.
Well, thank you guys for having me.
Thanks, Brad.
Good luck, buddy, this
All right.
weekend. We'll see you, man.
Appreciate it. See you guys.
Okay, guys, I got a question for you guys that are still out there. How many?
Wait. I'm not being responsible for picking this. I think you're gonna have to go back because I can only see so many of these comments, and then these guys get all riled up.
I know they
really,
do. So
like,
I don't know the best way to do it. Like, what's the best way to do it then? Because I've seen. So what do we just check the messenger messages? Because we got different people listening on different platforms.
I think what you do is I think you have someone direct message you, and the first one you get that answers it correctly, because like the unfortunate side is I don't get like all the Instagram and all the YouTube ones and the Facebook ones. I get most of them, but I don't want there to be no drama. But the other side of it too is I kind of want to win this too, and I've been listening, but I won't. I get it because these grass pieces are hard to get, man. It's like, you know, especially with all this tariff crap now, it's impossible. But yeah, so here's what we're gonna do. If you know the answer to the question, go ahead and get in your messenger right now. Pull up Trey Dawson, the official Trey Dawson page, and send him a message with the answer. And you can do it. You can announce it later or whatever. We'll have a segment at the awards where you can be like, hey, this podcast winner is so-and-so. And if they're there, they win. If they're not, they're a loser.
Okay. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. I'm not going to announce it now because it could roll down. Okay. So I want you guys to tell me, how many days was Brad back home from college when he did his first guide trip?
There it is, folks. How many days? Don't answer it in the comments because you'll give all the answers, but send Trey a messenger message.
Facebook
first guy that gets it right. We'll announce it at the awards. We'll do it at the last giveaway. And
they're already coming in.
Away. Don't tell anybody yet. Let's leave some suspense. That way they can get all excited about it. So, and then we'll do that as the last giveaway. The podcast listener appreciation. We'll do that the very last
one. And it's a 3/4 ounce too. This was the hard one because this one gets a little deeper.
How many more of those do you have? We'll talk later. Don't worry. We'll talk later. Just send me your PayPal link. I'll take that. No, I'm just saying. But seriously, man, I'm excited, dude. It's been forever. It seems like. I know last time everyone was on Truman, it kind of sucked. But I'm looking forward to getting on the water and doing some fishing. Trey, where are you going to fish? Which part of the lake are you going to?
Way up the Osage.
You don't like that muddy water, dude. You're like
I might this week.
Clean water boy. Nah, you don't know about that dirty water. And dirty water boys.
Might just take this grass piece and go up there and throw it around a little bit.
Jeez. I literally watched that 10 killer event and I was like, I'm going to buy some swim jigs. I'm going to throw a swim jig all day. I have never thrown a swim jig in my life, but obviously I'm not throwing the jig head minnow. So I don't know what I'm going to do.
What do you got to lose?
I mean, nothing at this point. It's been a rough year for me, you know. I'm excited. So, hey, let's talk about this too. So this weekend's Truman. Next weekend is Table Rock for the All-American. So All-American, instead of it being 2-day events, Friday, Saturday, it's now just 1-day Saturday event. You can come down, fish Truman or fish Table Rock. 1-day event. I think the entry fees is like $167 if you don't do the trash pots. But that should be a good event too, guys. Like I know it's getting hot, I know it's getting out here, but we'll probably I'm assuming we'll probably have some Arkansas guys coming up. I think Arkansas is doing an event. Maybe they'll join up and allow people to do both events. But if you're wanting some more derby action,
Table Rock is on fire right now with the water level that it is. I have a couple buddies that fish some pretty serious stuff down there. And I was talking to one yesterday that just said the lake is absolutely on fire right now. And I know that changes with Table Rock by the day. But I just, and it's going to be my birthday. That day is my birthday. So you guys can come down and just give me stuff.
Yeah, hopefully we can get Josh to make a little
Birthday.
post inside the MOYAK page next week and remind people. That way they can check it out and come. Mimosa campground RV spot. That's where we're going to be for check-in. So it's kind of different because like Clinton's on one side of the lake and then Mimosa's on the other side of the lake. So it'll be a little different to change it up, but look forward to that. So
and if anyone knows where
I'm
Christian from Moyer is fishing, for the Table Rock event, if you send me a private message, I will make sure. So that's only Christopher Moyer's.
Oh, my goodness. You know what? It's funny that you're saying this, but you were literally like, "Hey, Brad, after this, we'll talk separately."
Did I say it like that?
I'll get all the juice, Brad, and then I'll have a good idea of what I need to do, Brad.
I didn't say it like that, but it was something like
exactly
that.
how. Hey, Brad, I really appreciate you coming on here.
Hey,
Brad.
you're letting him talk this shit on me right now.
Brad. Can't wait. What else you got, man? I'm out. I'm done. What else you got?
Good. I'm done, man. I'm excited to see you guys.
Remember,
this one counts, guys. Number 4, we are halfway through the season. This drop isn't. This one's important.
Hopefully, you don't have to drop it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you don't have to drop it. Hopefully, you can drop Mark Twain and not have to go. That way, I can get more points when I go there because I'm going to have to go there. So, well, seriously, appreciate it, guys. Look forward to see you guys Saturday. We'll be back then. And then hopefully have the winners on next week sometime, but we'll figure that out. Trey, anything else?
I'm good, buddy.
That's it. We're out. See y'all.